Did you know there's another Hellboy? Yes, coming out this year, straight to disc, straight to digital, I suppose, because that's like the more thing that everybody's more into these days, is Hellboy the Crooked Man. No Ron Perlman, no dude from Stranger Things like there was the last time, but this one comes to us as a bit of a more leveled uh, story from Millennium Media and Catch Up Entertainment. This movie, I'll say this much about it. The dude does look like Hellboy. It's not a bad makeup job on such things like that. But this is taken from a comic book story, you know, that has actually happened. So it's not like brand new material. I think they only spent like $20 million on this movie, which makes it like the lowest budgeted movie there. I think it was released theatrically one place, only made like 1 million. So I don't know if it's considered successful yet. But I will say that if you want a Hellboy story that takes place way before the first films do, and I mean, and even though it's like another reboot, it isn't supposed to attach to the other Hellboy movies. But if you want one that takes place so far before that one, or the previous ones, that you don't have to worry about connections or you know chronological situations, then this one is definitely for you. Plus, it takes more of a horror aspect than the other ones. I know that says a lot because it's Hellboy and the material is what it is from Dark Horse Comics, but this time it's a little bit more full of horror, as this Crooked Man character is there. Which, how many times have we seen a different Crooked Man? Like there's the straight to DVD Crooked Man movie. There's the one that's like in The Conjuring. They wanted to do a spinoff, but that never happened. But Crooked Man's very popular. Apparently, it was a Hellboy character. I looked it up. So this one starts off with Hellboy and an agent supposed to be delivering this big, gigantic, mutated spider. That starts some action there at the beginning of the movie. They end up in the woods. They end up in like this country hick area where we have such things as witches, and we just so happen to have the Crooked Man, which leaves old Big Red here to cross paths with the witch and the Crooked Man and another guy who has dealt with the witch before. And it all comes together in a pretty gothic, like almost horror Hammer horror style affair, which they know what they're doing because the opening credits look very much like a Hammer horror movie. So, or the title screen does anyway. So yeah, they know what they're doing. It's stylish. It's harmless. There's some blood and gore. There's some interesting characters. There's some interesting moments. Is this going to be your go-to Hellboy movie anytime you watch a Hellboy movie? Of course not. But it is one that you can watch without fear of it being, at least not bad. At least I don't think it's bad, and it may not be as good as the first two Hellboy movies, but even big budget be damned, it might be okay compared to the last one we got to see however many years ago that was. Especially the Crooked Man character, who I thought stood out. The actor's name skips my mind, but the guy does a good job in it. This Hellboy is good. There's a lot of witches and hauntings and like mind games that plays in this movie, so there's a lot of cool visual moments. So even if it was a lower budget compared to the other ones, maybe you don't get as many explosions and big bangs, but as far as cool visuals and whatnot, those are still there. I do think, as I'm a southern man myself, that the accents that these people had when they're supposed to be, country folk, did seem a little far-fetched. Did seem a little bit forced, and was probably the worst part of the movie. Jeffrey from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air has a role in this movie as well as a preacher, a blind preacher. So that was unexpected and that was cool. So overall, it was pleasantly better than I expected it to be. If you're hesitant to go into it, don't, because it's pretty good, especially if you are a horror fan. And if you're watching this channel, I'm sure you are, because I am, and that's mostly what we do. So that being said, 3 out of 5, harmless, fun. Wouldn't mind another Hellboy with this guy. Don't know if we're going to get one or not, but hey, if you want to live dangerously and give it a try, it is available now.